This is the Nike REACTX INFINITY Run 4. And if you are environmentally conscious or sustainability minded and you like running in a max cushioned, extremely supportive and comfortable running shoe, this could be for you. Let's get into it. My friends, this video is a collaboration between me and Roadrunner Sports, and Roadrunner Sports was good enough to send me this shoe for the purpose of review. However, all the thoughts and opinions are mine. And with that said, the Nike REACTX INFINITY Run 4 will cost you $160, and of course I'll place a link in the show notes below in case you want to pick up a pair for yourself. Now right off the bat, we're just going to smooth the name out. We're going to call it the INFINITY Run 4. And the INFINITY Run 4 has 39mm in the heel, 30mm in the forefoot for a 9mm drop. Now let me just tell you right here that this is probably not a daily trainer. The shoe is much better suited towards your easy days, your recovery days, and if for no other reason, it's probably because of the weight. Now, Nike claims that a US men's size 10 will tip the scale at 12.45 ounces or 353 grams. However, in my size, a US men's size 13, it tips the scale at 14.9 ounces or 422 grams. Now, I just heard a collective gasp over the internet. Yes, that definitely sounds heavy, but believe it or not, the shoe doesn't actually ride or carry as heavy as the scale suggests. Okay, let's start at the top, let's work our way down. And just as you would expect for a trainer in the easy recovery day category, we got a lot of padding around the heel collar. This shoe is remarkably comfortable when you put your foot in. That step-in feel is spot on. Got a nice bright lace loop here just to assist you putting on the shoe, and the heel counter is very rigid. Again, as soon as your foot goes in, you feel pretty much locked in. Now, this upper is brand new for this shoe. Or I shouldn't say brand new, it's still Flyknit, but it's an updated Flyknit, and it's the best fitting Flyknit yet. And look, this is very difficult to see on camera, but there are several different weaves all over the upper. So if we come along the side, you can see it's a very tight knit with some ridges, and that's just giving a little stability to the upper. You can see these lines of laser cut holes. Now, if I put my hand in and I kind of stretch the upper a little bit, can you see that? Probably not, but those holes get a lot bigger. Now, with that said, even though there appears to be quite a bit of ventilation, it is still a knit upper and it is going to ride just a little warm. And that's certainly okay unless you live in a super warm area. Because again, remember, recovery paces, easy paces, going out and just logging those miles. You're not going to be pushing the envelope and spiking your heart rate in this shoe. As far as overlays, they are very minimal. Where other shoes use a lot of overlays to add support to the upper, this updated Flyknit is just using those different weaves. There is a little bit of reinforcement coming along the eyelet chain, and then probably most prominently, we have this piece coming right around the back, almost like a heel clip, but it's really not doing anything. Because we've got the internal heel counter, this seems more aesthetic than anything else. And then of course we've got the small swoosh on the side, and then just a small plastic piece for the top eyelets. It's all very minimal. When you put your foot into this shoe, it really is just pulling on a sock. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about knit uppers. Generally speaking, I'm not a fan. Just find that knit uppers, they feel a little bit loose even when they're cinched down tight. And I'm happy to say I didn't run into that problem in the INFINITY Run 4. I was able to get a good lockdown right across my midfoot, but I think that is also to do with they have a Flyknit band, and it's an internal band. It's actually part of the tongue, but the band on the inside is just a little tighter, and it helps just have that feeling of support across your midfoot. And because this is a new Flyknit, we wanted to have a good lockdown. Nike actually says on their website to size up half a size. But I gotta tell you, I think that is dependent on the type of foot that you have. The front of my foot is very narrow, and I found that I had plenty of room in the toe box in my normal size. I wear a size 13 in every pair of Nikes, and this was no different. I didn't notice a tight fit at all. But with that said, maybe if you have wider feet, or perhaps your feet are on the upper end of your size, you may want to consider sizing up half a size. I'm sure Nike wouldn't suggest sizing up half a size if that wasn't actually necessary in a lot of cases. Just for me, it wasn't. For me, it fits true to size. Personally, I think this upper is the best part about the shoe. This gives a very supportive feel when your foot is tied in. No heel slip, good midfoot lockdown, plenty of room in the toe box, for me at least. Now I know Nikes do tend to run a little narrower than some other shoes, so take that with a pinch of salt. Well, the INFINITY Run 4 also features a water repellent liner on the inside of this new Flyknit upper. Now, that doesn't mean that it's waterproof. You're not going to be able to take this shoe swimming, but if you are running and you're running through perhaps wet grass, or you're splashing in a puddle, or you're even out in the rain, it's going to offer a little more protection. Unfortunately for me, in my case, because I live in such a hot area, I kind of soak the shoe from the inside out. So all I'm doing is protecting the outside from my sweat, which you could argue is also a good thing. Now let's come down to the midsole. Now this is the biggest change yet. This is the first shoe that Nike has used their REACTX foam. And not only is the REACTX foam 13% more responsive than the regular React, it also has a 43% lower carbon footprint than the regular React foam. Now, yes, they have tweaked the formulation a bit to get that extra responsiveness, but the main reason that they have lowered the carbon footprint of the REACTX over the React is just the process in how they make it. They've kind of streamlined it a little more, made it a lot more efficient. But either way, a lower carbon footprint different is always a good thing. Come down to the outsole, you're going to see nothing but rubber. It's Nike's waffle outsole rubber with, I guess, strategic cutouts to the REACTX below, but this is all rubber, and just by looking at the sheer amount, this shoe is going to last you a long time. Now, before we talk about ride, I just want to point out the rocker geometry, because I think that is one of the main reasons that the Infinity Run 4 feels so good on the run, despite it being slightly heavier than some of its competitors. The Infinity Run 4 has very smooth and very easy transitions. So on the run, this shoe felt remarkably good. From the second I started running in it, it was a lovely feeling. Now, you would look at this, with 39 millimeters of stack in the heel, you're going to think that it's going to be a pretty plush ride, right? And you'd be wrong. It's not a firm ride by any means, but to me at least, the ride is firmer than it looks like it would be, which is a good thing. We don't want a spongy marshmallow ride. And if I had to describe the softness of the REACTX foam, I'm going to say medium, because medium softness actually means nothing. But to me, it isn't super soft and it isn't super firm. It's somewhere right in the middle. And ultimately, I really liked how it felt underfoot. Okay, so I've taken this shoe out for a lot of runs. I've taken it out for up to 2 hours at a time, just running easy. And when I came back, my body felt good. It was actually really quite uneventful, which is what we want in our easy runs. Now in my testing, I also took this out for a tempo run. And guys, let's be honest, you can run a tempo run in any shoe. It's just when you start turning over those feet a little quicker, that's when the weight becomes a little more pronounced. So while I was able to do it, I guess I feel like telling you that it just wasn't ideal. There are a lot of better options out there if you want to do a tempo pace, if you want to run intervals, and certainly there are better options if you want a shoe for racing. However, this shoe does have a place, and it's got a pretty big potential place in your rotation. Because remember, most of our runs are going to be nice and easy. The vast majority of our runs are just going to be going out there and churning out the miles at a conversational pace. And if those are the types of runs that you want to do, I think the Infinity Run 4 fits in nicely. It feels good on your foot, it feels good under your foot, and again, it does not feel as heavy as the scale suggests, which I actually think is pretty high praise for this shoe. So guys, I want to hear from you. Are you thinking of picking up a pair of the Infinity Run 4? Have you run in the Infinity Run 3? And what shoes do you choose for your easy or recovery runs? Let me know in the comments. Guys, it's Matt B. This has been my review of the Nike REACTX Infinity Run 4. Be kind, be happy, run well. See you in a couple of days.